Every year, I think the opportunities are only growing. So really speaking, for the graduates of today, you have the world to conquer. You have the world to conquer, and provided you are able to work hard, shed your ego, develop empathy, and really develop team skills and leadership skills. So, I mean, you have to just go out in the world and conquer. Now, so what is the parting advice that I have to give? I will just quote certain words from the Upanishads. And in just simple words, it just says, the parting advice that is given to students in the Upanishads is, speak the truth, practice virtue, do not neglect your studies, do not stop your line of progeny, that means be a householder, that means get married. Do not swerve from welfare, do not neglect what is good. Do not neglect duties towards gods, parents, and wise men. That is, worship your mother, father, teacher, and guest as a god. And the last two things they say is, whatever is flawless in our conduct, thou mayest copy, nothing else. Whatever is good in our conduct, thou mayest adopt, nothing else. I think if you follow these simple principles, I think it will stand you in good stead throughout your career and life. May I take this opportunity to wish you all the best in your, not only your career and your life and your family. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now invite our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rajan Saxena, to address the audience.
This morning, Mr. K.V., as we all call him, Mr. K. Venkatramanan, the former CEO and Managing Director of L&T and currently the Chairman of L&T Hydrocarbon, nominee of the Honorable Chancellor Dr. Jayant Gandhi, the Chairman of the Local Management Committee of NMIMS Bangalore, Mr. Sailesh Patel, the Vice Provost Dr. Sanyal, the Director, Bangalore Campus, Professor Monjee, the Deputy Registrar, Ms. Varuna Saxena, members of the faculty, graduating students, parents, spouses, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I join Professor Monjee in welcoming all of you to this 7th graduation function of NMIMS Bangalore. We have all come through a very rigorous process. I'm aware of that entire process of selection. And I've gone through equally rigorous academic requirements of the program. Hence, as Professor Monjee said, you all deserve our heartiest congratulations. And so do your parents and spouses, who deserve a loud cheer from each one of us, because it is for their support, but for their support, it was not really possible for any one of you to have really come so far. We are extremely grateful to you, sir, Mr. Venkatramanan, for coming over today to Bangalore to be with us this morning. You have been a great source of inspiration and ideas and suggestions to us. Mr. K. Venkatramanan is also our member of the Board of Governors of the university. So it is in this context that I particularly welcome him on this particular occasion. So sir, we greatly value your kind of support to us. But I thought at this point of time, just to really take you back and also really talk about what is it that we have, how NMIMS has really grown, what it is today, what is our future that we see, and therefore the kind of role that each one of you is going to be playing in the future economy itself and in the institution building, that is in terms of contributing back to NMIMS as your alma mater. We are a 36-year-old India's premier business school. We were set up in 1981 as a management school in Mumbai by SVKM. SVKM is a is a public trust set up in 1934. And it today has some of the finest institutions in the country. Today, the day when NMIMS not only is ranked among the top 10 business schools in India, but also as a university. We came up, we were recognized as a university in 2003. And in 14 years time period that we have been a university, we have today emerged as one of the most credible names in higher education. We are a multidisciplinary institution. We have multiple campuses today. We have, apart from the main campus in Mumbai, we also have, as you all know, the Bangalore, the Hyderabad, the Shirpur, the Dhulia district, and at the same time, we also have a campus which is coming up in Navi Mumbai and Indore. Our credibility as an institution of higher learning is reflected by several rankings and ratings undertaken by several media houses. It also gets reflected by the various awards that have been conferred on us. This reflects the stakeholder confidence in us. In particular, I would imagine that the 2016 award from FICCI in the category of 10 to 30-year-old university as the University of the Year, and the Leadership Award at the 10th International Benchmarking Conference at Nanjing reflects the coming of age of NMIMS. We are, as I've often said, that we are like a 36-year-old young executive who today is really at either the president of a company or knocking at the door of the president's office, likely to be inducted as the president of that particular organization and actually looked upon as a leader or the spokesperson of the industry. And at the same time, as a university, we are a teenager. So as a teenager, we have all that kind of an excitement and that kind of a desire to explore and experiment with new ideas. We want to break away from the tradition, and that gets reflected in the several kinds of innovations that we have undertaken. In the last year, for example, we set up a School of Liberal Arts at Mumbai, and this is the school which works towards enabling the young boys and girls to experiment, to explore, and not really go through a straight-jacketed kind of programs, which is the forte of the Indian education system per se. We also have been fortunate enough to be getting some financial support from various philanthropic trusts. And last year we had the Dalal Trust, who gave us some liberal kind of donation to name our Liberal Arts School as the Jyoti Dalal School of Liberal Arts, and also for naming our Center for Entrepreneurship and Family Business as the Praveen Dalal Center for Entrepreneurship and Family Business. Many of you would know that we published NMIMS Management Review, which is an official journal of NMIMS since 1990s. This is the first time that it got included in the international database of journals called Cable's Directory. We also launched last year the Journal of Economics and Public Policy. It is the first major journal. And over these 14 years, as I just mentioned, we have really established ourselves in different disciplines, whether this is engineering, pharmaceutical sciences, architecture, law, economics, commerce, business, etc. And as we just mentioned, that we are today everywhere around. And we are going to be in many other markets that are likely to be. We started our Bangalore campus in 2008, as Professor Modi mentioned. Our purpose of coming to Bangalore was not just because, or not because we couldn't have expanded our capacity in Mumbai, but it was with a view to give access to our quality programs to this very large market itself. Karnataka, apart from the IIM Bangalore, did not have really any other major kind of institution in management education. And it was from that kind of a perspective that we decided to enter the Karnataka market about 9 years ago. And I would say that looking back in time, this campus has done exceedingly well. We couldn't have possibly expected anything better than what we have really got today. And I would possibly attribute this largely to the leadership reflected by Professor Boni and the entire faculty who have been over here. At the same time, we have been very fortunate to have had the support of a wonderful chairman, Mrs. Shailesh Patel over here. But with this kind of a combination, NMIMS Bangalore would not have been really possible. So I really salute each one of you today at this point in time. Well, you're all graduating at some of the most challenging times. The world is today, increasingly becoming inward-looking, as you can really look at the kind of various developments that are taking place. Just the other day, you would have seen that Australia is one of the latest to really join that entire kind of a call for putting a closure on the labor mobility. They are putting restrictions on the labor mobility, the skilled labor mobility. US has already put a restriction on the skilled labor mobility. H-1B visa is a very major kind of a concern. A lot of you would have traveled, those of you who are into the MPE program, the executive program, and also in the PTDM program, who came from with a work experience would have seen that your own companies would have sent you across to various kinds of projects in the US, etc. Perhaps on an H-1B visa. Today, the whole H-1B visa issue has today become a very big issue, political issue in the US. We are the same, we are today talking about policies like be Indian, buy Indian, make in India. We talk about be American, buy American, make in America. This is today creating that kind of a trend, worldwide trend, where we are talking about the nationalism, we are talking about a whole lot of aspect of growing the economy by ensuring that the local people and the production facilities are encouraged. There is no denying that the local economy needs to be developed. There is simply no denying. But I wonder that when you look at these kind of policies, does it really throw a spanner in the globalization, in the global business growth? Will these policies really lead to an increase in employment? That's a question that we ask. Possibly Mr. K. Venkatraman is going to tell you how factories have become more intelligent today. Today we realize that the workplaces are highly automated. Technology has already disrupted not only the industry but also our lives. Products and services are intelligent and smart. Artificial intelligence, internet, IoT, virtual reality, robots, robotics, sensors, social networks, name them. They have today redefined the products, customer connect, relationships, and consumption of products and services. Technology, therefore, is breaking down the barrier between nations and societies. Internet is one technology that has democratized the knowledge. And at the same time, it has created a level playing field in respect of information. Hence, it has fueled customer expectations all over the world. And what is it that this customer is really looking for? The customer today, each one of us is looking for a good value for our money. And that is the kind of a core at the end of the day. Now the question is, would these kinds of policies help us to create such a kind of a value for money for the customer? Or is it an interdependence in the various production centers of the world that is going to help us to create such a kind of a valuable product or a service for the customer? That is a question that I think as management graduates you need to ask, because you are going to be the future leaders. I also believe that today is the day that no matter what happens at the policy level, fact is that the internet today will continue to drive the forces of globalization. So the forces of globalization will grow. Radical government policies like demonetization and political developments like Brexit, they are also today disruptors, and they have created a new era. They are going to have a significant effect on how we live, pay to consume goods and services. And to further fuel the disruptive forces are the demographic changes in the world. While Europe is aging, India and China continue to remain young. All these are going to have an impact on the job market. We are already witnessing shrinking job market, especially as we look at the established companies. Routine jobs are increasingly getting lost to automation technologies, which I just mentioned, or getting outsourced. Much of the job creation is happening in the smaller firms or in the startup firms. So what is it that is going to be there in the larger organization? It is the high-skilled jobs that will always remain in demand. And therefore, the demand for such a kind of a skilled labor, though that's going to be small, but would always remain. And therefore, the effort that is really required in such a situation is to continuously unlearn and relearn. And that is going to be a very, very critical kind of a message that I want to leave behind for you all. The era is that of a continuous unlearning. You've got to unlearn and relearn. Do not expect that whatever you have happened in the past will continue to happen in the times to come. And your ability to quickly make this kind of a change is going to be critical. And you are required to really acquire the latest skills. So education and training will not end. So therefore, what is required is to continue to learn. Innovations and innovative mindset is the call of the day. No more now innovation is a one-time exercise. Rather, it requires creation of an ecosystem that helps firms and individuals innovate on a continuous and sustainable basis. These changes have today also made conventional organizational structures obsolete. Rule-based organizations Rule-based organizations are no more competitive as they do not encourage creativity. Compliance is rewarded in such organizations, that is, in the rule-based organizations. On the contrary, innovative organizations are by nature agile and flexible. They reward innovative ideas, especially the ones which have the potential to alter the rules of the game in the industry. More radical the idea, higher the incentive. Speed to market, the most critical success factor. Target achievement, yes, that is going to be the critical. Multiple leaders in each work team characterize these new organizations. So therefore, what is it that would be required from you all? Creativity, self-starter, exhibiting agility in your approach, and quick to adapt to any situation. At the same time, believing in the principle that you've got to let go. If you don't let go, something new will never happen. If you continue to hold, nothing new is going to be happening. Aggressive activism is today going to be there. It's a reality. Dogmatic thinking is today dominating. But at the same time, therefore, we need to keep asking, even in such a kind of a time, why? We need to keep asking, why is it so? Is it really so? So we got to really encourage more and more a contra viewpoint, because that is the way the world has really grown. I would also imagine that these are the tough times for all the leaders itself. It really tests the mettle of any of the leaders itself. Social networks certainly have become pivotal. Many times, it's a fact that today, whatever goes on the social networks, and if it is persisted in much lesser time period than we ever imagined, it becomes a reality. It becomes a truth. Which means that even if there are unbaked facts, you can bake them in the social networks. How dangerous this whole situation is. And it is from this kind of a perspective that we need to really keep asking this kind of a question. So while growing, continuing to question will also be very, very important. Tolerance and respecting diversity will help you to be really successful. Today, the day when we need to learn the value of tolerance and diversity. One of the most significant learning that I've had in my life is that you cannot build a winning organization unless and until